to Matvei Michkov, who was not the first Russian taken, but he was taken by the Philadelphia Flyers, something that we suggested on this podcast as a big possibility. And certainly that ends up happening. And what we learned about Michkov was that, I think that he had good meetings with teams. Teams had felt that the meetings were positive, that he didn't necessarily, the rumored character issues, they didn't get a feel for that. They didn't feel like that was going to be a huge hindrance. So, and I can understand if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan and you see a special talent like Michkov sitting there and your team doesn't take him, that can be kind of annoying. But at the same time, every team has their reasons. We actually have a question from a Canadiens fan about not taking Michkov that we'll get to later. But, what I'd say to now Flyers fans, this is a new era. And Danny Briere states it clearly with this pick that, yes, he's a former Philadelphia Flyer. Yes, Keith Jones is a former Philadelphia Flyer, but they're not going to run things exactly the way that the Philadelphia Flyers have been doing it for a while. Yes, there's still a lot of old alumni that are involved and the guys that have their varying opinions. They've now added, Patrick Sharp on the younger side and John LeClaire as some of the newer Flyers alumni that are going to be part of the decision-making process. So it's not the Bob Clarks and Paul Holmgrens who still have valuable opinions and guys that are going to be consulted on things. But Danny Briere just said, we are going big here. And, this is a pick that was way outside of the norm for Flyers. And I think that this is a pick that Flyers fans should be ecstatic about, because if Matvei Michkov hits, he has a chance to be one of the best players in this draft. The hockey sense is off the charts. The skill is off the charts. This is a player who can make a significant difference for an NHL team. And I think that he's going to over time. We'll see what happens. He said all the right things at the draft. He says he wants to win a Stanley Cup. It's his lifelong goal. It's something he wants to do. And I think there's also a very clear desire for him to play in a big city, an American city, and a place where hockey matters. And I think that came through in what he said and how things went with his interview. So I've got a lot of time for Matvei Michkov with the Philadelphia Flyers. Fascinated to see how all of that works out for them, because obviously with the contract, with the situation in Russia being what it is, nothing is easy. There's plenty of risk there. But I love that Danny Briere was willing to take that risk and say, nope, this is a team that we are going to push forward. We are not going to continue to do things the same way. We are not going for safe picks. We're not drafting for size. We're drafting the best player available, and that was Matvei Michkov at that time. I think tremendous value at number 7, and now the Philadelphia Flyers move on.